Hello there, it's Tanya again. I wanted to show you a little bit about gilding the pages and talking about decorating your smashbooks. It's not something that you have to have done before you start smashing in your smashbook. It's probably something that evolves as you work on your book. Sometimes you're just not inspired, and other times you are inspired. So don't take it too much to heart if something doesn't inspire you right away. So I just wanted to show you, this was my first smash book, and it has magazine clippings. So I cut this out of a magazine. I glued it to watercolor paper, I believe, that then got glued to my smash book. This one had a lady's profile face on it. It was really pretty. But accidentally, instead of grabbing the Mod Podge, I grabbed the gesso, and I had thrown the gesso across it thinking it was Mod Podge, and then all of a sudden I realized that I put the wrong thing, so I wiped it off, and it created this really pretty effect where it took the printing away, but not all the way. It kind of left her lips and her eyes in as a smile. So it was kind of cool. This was a happy accident. And then I used white jelly pen to write around it. And then of course I Mod Podged it to protect it. And it probably needs another coating of it because I've had it for a few years. And you can see on the edges of the pages, it's kind of brownish red to match the book. See how that kind of matches the book? So I gilded the pages on that one. And then I moved on, and I think, I'm not sure if this was my second one. Moved on and did this, and this one is a napkin that we Mod Podged on there, and then washi tape around the edge, washi tape on the binding, more napkin and washi tape, and then just acrylic paint. And I think I just used a piece of watercolor paper and taped down the front and the back on it. And you can see that the edges I gilded in an orange and some pink, and I believe I had some gold. You can't see it too much on the video, but there's gold on there. And then this one right here is mostly magazine clippings that I've glued on the book. I didn't even go over the binding. I left the black binding. And then on the back, it's just a picture from a magazine glued on there and then Mod Podged. And then I folded the paper over and glued it down, and then glued more magazine photos to it. And the same with the inside covers. I just folded the paper over, glued it down, and then put in some magazine photos that I liked. And then for the gilding on these pages, I chose a blue and a green, and you can see that I've gilded the pages on this one, blue and green. And then we have this one right here that is watercolor paper that's completely wrapped around the cover and then glued. And I did not fold the paper over and glue it on. I've got other stuff that I've been attaching to it, like it's still a work in progress. And the edges are kind of gilded with a blue, green, And so it's just real soft. It's sort of watercolor-ish to match the cover. And then on this one right here, this is actually my Cosmic Smashbooking book that I made for my certification. And it turned into a green cover, and it's one piece of watercolor paper that I painted on. And then when I attached it, I folded over the paper, and then I also glued magazine photos on there. And then on the inside front cover, I just glued over the paper, a couple of sheets of paper, glued it over. And then I made a pocket for the first page here, and then of course I have magazine. But this one ended up being green influenced on it. So that was kind of cool. That one's all green. And then this is the one I'm working in right now with you all. And it was some really cool paper that was dark blue and burgundy, and I didn't care for it too much, so I painted over it. I just grabbed acrylic paints and started painting over it, and this is what happened. I stuck some stickers that I had on there. I wrapped it around the edges, and then I folded over the paper and glued them down. And the same with the back. I just folded the paper over and then glued the pages down, stuck a sticker there. So this one's still a work in progress. And I have gilded the edges. I put a red burgundy on there along with some gold. But I thought today that I would show you how I tackle that. And you can use any acrylic paints or inks. I prefer the liquid Goldens. I fell in love with these when I learned about intentional creativity, and Shiloh was teaching classes a long time ago now. So I just grabbed myself a piece of paper, or you can use meat trays or paper plates, and just squeeze out a little bit of paint for yourself. You're going to use the same brush that you used to gesso the pages. Just make sure that it's clean and it doesn't have any gesso in it. And then you're just going to get your brush covered in paint and hold your pages together and just come down and brush them like this. So all I'm doing is this right here. And it doesn't matter if you get paint on the pages or if the pages stick together, because it just adds character to the book when you've got that paint all throughout your whole book. So I'm just gonna brush some paint on there and look for areas that are still light colored. And as you can see, I'm not real picky about how it looks, because I don't want it to be perfect. I want it to be imperfect, like me. That's the whole point of this, is to make it so that it's not perfect. So you can keep going, do as much as you want. And then there have been times that I have had extra paint like I do today, and you can come in and put little marks throughout your book. To help get rid of that paint so that you're not wasting it. And not that it matters or makes a huge change in your book, but it does start to give it personality. You know, it starts to have something in it besides white lines. And then I might come on the front here and just splatter some of this paint. See, this is how I end up getting paint all over myself and all over my workspace. It's because I just start working on it and sort of relax and let the paintbrush and everything speak to me. And I've found that if I don't think about it, if I just start acting on it, it works so much better for me. Sometimes if I put too much thought into it, like maybe I saw somebody else's pretty painting or a journal or something and it inspired me and I think, oh, I can do something like that, it totally messes up the creative part because I'm trying to do something. So there you have it. A little bit about gilding the pages and how I incorporate the color into the whole journal. And the color that I chose last time to gild with was a slightly different red. This one's got more violet in it, so it's slightly more purple, which adds more dimension to the colors that I'm seeing here. So I want to talk a little bit about decorations on your smash book. And you don't have to put decorations on your smash book. I like decorations on mine. However, over the years, I have found that sometimes they get in my way and I get irritated with them because they're just flopping all over the place. So you'll just have to experiment and see what works for you. This is just ribbon and yarn, and I have tied a little feather on to this, and all that you do is you just separate your pages, grab a spot and go all the way around and tie the ribbon. So I've got ribbon tied in multiple places that goes all the way through the book. It's not one spot. I'm not tying them onto anything in particular. I'm just wrapping them all the way around the whole book. So they're all coming from different areas. And on this one, I keep my pen in it where I'm writing, and you can see it's falling apart because I haven't tied stuff very securely. And so I'll just drag this back up here and tie it again and maybe put another knot in it. But this is just ribbon that maybe came on a package, or I saw somebody somewhere had gotten a package and it had ribbon on it and they tore it off, and I grabbed it and I stashed it and waited until I found a use for it. Again, more paper wrapping. This was someone's wrap around a package, and I just grab it and hold it until it inspires me to stick it on a Cosmic Smash book. And like I said, you don't have to put ribbons on yours. It's totally up to you what you want to do. I find that making it personal to your individual needs is what makes you happy, what makes the muse come out. So just grab a spot in the middle of your book, wrap it around, and it'll serve its purpose. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and I look forward to seeing your smash books.